see you hitting him when you walk. I want you to do like this. You're gonna do boom, 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 boom. You keep for boom, 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 boom. How long you can do that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1,
2. Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. That is called one thing. That's called being a bull.
Gervonta Tank Davis recently joined forces with the legendary Mike Tyson for an intense and explosive training session ahead of his much-hyped fight against Jake Paul. The gym atmosphere was electric, a blend of old-school ferocity and modern-day precision. Tyson personally guided Davis through high-level drills, emphasizing the mechanics behind his famous knockout power, head movement, hip rotation, body torque, and the art of the devastating uppercut. Observers described the session as a fusion of two eras of destruction, with Tank channeling Tyson's signature aggression while refining his own speed and technique. Those who witnessed the training said Davis appeared sharper, meaner, and more dangerous than ever. Under Tyson's mentorship, Tank seems ready to unleash a version of himself the boxing world has never seen before.
Are there any considerations when you're moving your head, like you're trying to get your head out of the center line?
No, well, you want to get out the center, but the objective for him to throw the punch before you can counter. And if he throws the punch here, you count here, you go to here, and you're still on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely, that makes sense. So you want them to miss, and when they miss, that's your opportunity.
Absolutely. Sometimes you can punch while he's punching, you can throw boom at the same time. As he punches, boom, he go down.
Absolutely.
It's all about moving after you punch. As soon as you punch, you're going. Whatever it is, boom, side, whatever it is, you have to go.
I love that foot movement. Is that something that Casamado taught you?
Yeah, twisting.
Twisting is what it's called.
The upcoming showdown between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis has been officially set for November 14th at the Casa Center in Miami, Florida. Originally, the event was scheduled for Atlanta, but the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission raised serious concerns about the size and weight disparity between the two fighters, a gap so significant that safety officials intervened. The relocation to Miami came as part of an effort to ensure the bout meets regulatory standards, though many fans still question whether the matchup should have been sanctioned at all.
Oh my days. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this. But Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is random, no?
Having once shared the ring with Jake Paul himself, Mike Tyson has issued a word of caution. Tyson understands both the excitement and the unpredictability that come with fighting Jake, a man who's proven stronger and more skilled than many expected. Yet, Tyson also knows what it means to face a technical genius like Gervonta Davis. While Paul has the advantage in youth and natural size, Tyson made it clear that Davis's speed, timing, and one-punch knockout power can erase any physical disadvantage in an instant. His warning suggests that Jake Paul may be dangerously underestimating the risk of facing a fighter with Tank's explosiveness and precision.
I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now, but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's the top dog, there's no doubt about it. He showed that. But Barrios is a pretty good fighter. Last time I saw him fight, he was pretty durable.
Interestingly, while working with Davis, Tyson admitted something that surprised the boxing world: Jake Paul's punches carry real power. Tyson confessed that after sparring with Jake, his body was sore for days. Coming from one of the most feared punchers in boxing history, that wasn't casual praise. It was a revelation. Tyson's statement validated that Paul's strength isn't just media hype, it's tangible, dangerous, and earned through serious training. Many who once dismissed Jake as a YouTuber have had to rethink that label. Tyson's respect for Paul's physical force underscores that Jake has transformed himself from an entertainer into a credible athlete capable of delivering genuine damage in the ring.
Oh no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. Listen, know what I remember? Coming back from the first round. Then the next day I remember Jake is doing some kind of, I don't know, what was he doing at the ring?
Oh yeah, a little bow at the end, he bowed.
That's the last thing I remember. You know, but the day after the fight, right after the day after, I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that? You know, I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
What did you think of Jake's power, man, when you were in there?
I don't remember it, but my body was really sore. Yeah, my body, my chest, my stomach.
Fans and analysts have long drawn comparisons between Gervonta Davis and Mike Tyson. Both men share similar qualities: devastating knockout power, an aggressive fighting mindset, and an aura of intimidation that can unnerve opponents before the first bell rings. However, experts are quick to add that Davis exists in a different era and context. Tyson's career was forged in the unforgiving heavyweight division, where his legacy became synonymous with ferocity and fear. Davis, meanwhile, dominates in lighter weight classes, carving out his own identity in a sport that's evolved dramatically since Tyson's prime. The similarities may be flattering, but they also come with important distinctions that Tank himself acknowledges.
I have to ask you, would you ever remake your famous video game? Bring it to the next generation consoles, my friend?
Hey, I'm just happy to be alive.
What about, what do you think about people comparing Tank Davis to you? What do you think about that?
Tank's a great fighter.
You think he's a great fighter? But what do you think about them comparing it to you? You're a legend, my friend.
Well, he'll be one too if he keeps fighting.
Oh, okay. All right, well, thank you. Okay, bye.
In fact, Gervonta Davis has openly pushed back against being labeled the new Mike Tyson. While he appreciates the comparison, he insists that their styles are fundamentally different. Davis describes himself as a boxer-puncher, someone who blends finesse, patience, and calculated aggression, whereas Tyson was more of a pure brawler, relying on relentless pressure and intimidation. Tank says his focus isn't on recreating Tyson's legend but on building his own. He wants to be remembered not as a modern echo of a past icon, but as a fighter who redefined power and precision for his generation.
Do you feel like you're the mini Mike Tyson?
Nah.
What do you call your style?
I don't know. I think I'm a boxer puncher.
What was Mike Tyson?
He was a brawler.
Brawl means more than one person.
A brawler, like somebody that's like.
So he knocked people out real quick. You knock people out real quick.
Yeah, but I can knock you out like.
So you saying that you can knock him out faster than Mike Tyson, probably, if it was a challenge?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like. Mike Tyson got power and skills. I feel as though like I have like the whole pack. I don't know, I'm just.
When Mike Tyson was asked directly about being compared to Davis, his response was as blunt as fans have come to expect. Tyson acknowledged that while people may draw parallels, they're often superficial. With typical humor and honesty, Tyson reportedly said, "Maybe just getting in trouble with the law. Other than that, no." The comment referred to Davis as offering controversies, but it also made clear that Tyson doesn't fully embrace the constant comparisons. In his view, there's only one Mike Tyson, and the rest are writing their own chapters, for better or worse.
Tank Davis, a lot of people say he reminds you of them. Does he remind you of yourself?
There we go. I don't know. Maybe just getting in trouble with the law. Other than that, no.
Interestingly, Gervonta Davis himself hasn't always treated Tyson as an untouchable hero. After Tyson's exhibition loss to Jake Paul, Tank publicly questioned the decision, wondering why a legend of Tyson's stature would return to the ring for a payday. Davis implied that such a spectacle may have hurt rather than honored Tyson's legacy. His comments revealed a certain distance, a willingness to critique rather than worship. Yet now, irony has come full circle. Davis faces similar backlash for taking on Jake Paul, with many fans and analysts accusing him of chasing attention and money over meaningful competition. What he once criticized, he's now living, and that tension has become part of the story surrounding this fight.
It's fair to call them boxers now. We talk about Logan Brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's working on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did. You just couldn't get the knockout. And he tried to knock him out for sure.
How much money you think they paid Tank?
Tank gonna make upwards around 100 million. Real talk, so you can't really blame him for taking.
Critics have labeled the upcoming Davis vs. Paul bout a circus, a money-driven spectacle rather than a sporting contest. Many argue that Davis passed on a more legitimate rematch with Lamont Roach in favor of this blockbuster payday. At the recent press conference, when confronted about the decision, Davis fired back sharply, saying he doesn't care what people think and that fans should simply enjoy the show. His response summed up the modern boxing dilemma, balancing legacy and entertainment in an era where viral attention often matters more than belts.
Look at this face-off, Henry. What are your thoughts?
You're hearing that shit from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like
cringe
it.
About it?
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of attention to boxing. Tank Davis guaranteed $40 million.
If you were in that position, would you fight Jake Paul?
Oh, hell yeah. You got to give Jake Paul his flowers. Mike Tyson, Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz.
Jake Paul is a disruptor, and he's done a phenomenal job. You get big and famous enough to where they will just hand you the title shot and completely throw out the ranking system.
If Jake Paul was to do that, I think that'd be the greatest sports accomplishment in history. Going from a Disney Channel kid to a YouTuber to becoming a world champion.
I don't remember the last time that I've heard Gervonta Davis say, I'm in boxing to be the greatest fighter of all time. I've heard him say that he's better than certain guys in his weight class, or this kid can't beat me. I've heard that. I can't remember, and maybe y'all can keep me honest, online. The last time I've heard Gervonta Davis talk about his legacy in the ring. Like I'm building my legacy, I'm trying to outdo Floyd in legacy. Like, I think it started like that for him. But the influence of Floyd Mayweather, Money Man, not Pretty Boy, but the Money Man, and building your brand and selling tickets and selling pay-per-views and becoming a household name, that's also a legacy. You got the legacy in the ring and you got the legacy in terms of how you sold. I believe Gervonta Davis is more focused on selling tickets and making money and securing his future for himself and his family. He said it out of his own mouth. I ain't got nothing else to prove. If you're trying to be one of the greatest fighters of all time, it's still a whole lot to prove. My point is, Roy, is I don't think, should everybody hold this man to the standard that they hold him to and say, you not fighting nobody, yeah, you making money, but you ain't really fought nobody. If he don't even care about that, that's not even something that he's really focused on. If his main focus is the money, and his main focus is getting out of boxing without getting hurt and retiring on his own terms, shouldn't his fan base and other people get on board with that if that's not even his goal? How can we hold him to something like that if he don't even...
MMA fighter Mike Perry, known for his unfiltered takes, didn't hold back either. Perry questioned whether Davis is still the same relentless knockout artist he once was. He suggested that Tank's passion for boxing has faded, and when that fire dims, it's nearly impossible to perform at your best, especially against a larger, heavier opponent like Jake Paul. Perry emphasized that when a fighter gives up over 50 pounds in weight, every punch feels different, every exchange becomes riskier, and stamina takes a major hit. He warned that Davis, despite his technical brilliance, might find himself overwhelmed by Paul's raw physicality and size advantage.
Your buddy Jake just signed on to fight Tank Davis. What do you think of that fight? He's got like 100 pounds on him.
Yeah, you know, and they say that there's a large weight discrepancy, like me and Jeremy are the same size. So, you know, it's his lower half is really small. My legs are gonna work the best that night. I have really strong legs. I'll squat twice the size that he can, and so my strong legs are gonna do work. Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult echoed a similar concern. He predicted that Jake Paul will be able to land heavy, punishing shots on Gervonta Davis simply due to his physical advantages, size, reach, and raw strength. While acknowledging Davis's skill, Showbiz argued that those attributes alone can't overcome such a dramatic gap in natural power and durability. In his view, Jake's strength and resilience will allow him to impose his will and dictate the pace of the fight. This assessment has fueled the growing skepticism about Davis's chances, as many experts now believe that even his elite technique may not be enough to close the gap.
How does Tank Davis beat Jake Paul. I mean, you have Shakur Stevenson saying Jake Paul doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell, and that Gervonta Tank Davis would just outbox him and beat him on points.
I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
And I get that, but when I think of Tank Davis, I think of a guy who kind of counters you to knock you out. I think of a guy who's not really a busy fighter. And this isn't just a size thing, because hell, if it was Jake Paul versus the prime Manny Pacquiao, I would say Manny Pacquiao because of Manny Pacquiao's style, how busy he is, how he hops in and out, pop, 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 pop. I think he would collect the points, while Tank Davis, I think he punches the least amount of all fighters in the world right now. So do I think he can one-punch KO Jake Paul? Well, the thing is about Gervonta has really shown a huge amount of concern fighting anything north of 135. Check this out.
He hit me in the back of my head. That stung a little bit, but other than that, it wasn't really. That's why I was nervous. Like, he's 140, so I would have tried to get caught too.
Critics continue to call out Jake Paul's matchmaking decisions. His controversial win over a 58-year-old Mike Tyson only amplified the criticism that Paul prefers spectacle over challenge. Detractors argue that fighting aging legends may generate headlines, but it does nothing to prove his legitimacy as a boxer. Figures like Carl Froch have dismissed Paul's achievements, calling them entertainment-driven rather than skill-driven. To them, his career is more about showmanship than true competition, a reflection of how celebrity influence is reshaping the sport.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. It's not a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? He took a L there, but Jake Paul, I've got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face to face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly gonna be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3, because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. You know what I mean? You never know.
Stephen A. Smith has been particularly vocal about this issue. He's accused Jake Paul of consistently avoiding elite, active boxers in their prime. According to Smith, Paul's resume is built on opponents who are either retired, inexperienced, or physically mismatched. Smith often references Paul's 2023 fight with Tommy Fury, one of the only times Jake faced a professional boxer of similar age and background. The result? Paul suffered his first and only defeat, losing by split decision. For Smith, that fight proved the gap between Paul's self-promotion and his actual boxing skill. Until Jake steps up to face more fighters of Fury's caliber, Smith believes his legacy will remain incomplete.
Are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
You know, I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were throwing arm bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me who Muhammad Ali, who was his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury, and he backed out due to a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. His brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him, and he got...
Smith also criticized Jake Paul for his decision to fight Mike Tyson in the first place. He argued that if Paul truly wants to be taken seriously in boxing, he should face opponents in his own age group and competitive range, not men decades older who built their reputations in a different era. In Smith's eyes, fighting aging icons might sell tickets, but it doesn't earn respect.
Can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me to believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please with sugar on top. I'm interested.
What did you think about the fight, Jake Paul?
I hate
it.
And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off. Mike Tyson is 57 years old, man. Jake Paul been training with professional boxing trainers for years. He takes the sport very seriously.
Thank you. So let me ask you, that's the question I have, because great kid, great businessman, by the way, amazing. And I know how he does all this, the character and the persona. We keep saying that he doesn't want to be a boxer. He's not a boxer, but then
Jake Paul is a boxer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Exactly. He's a boxer.
He can fight. He can fight. I respect it. So go in there against fighters. You should be climbing the ladder towards those other fighters and taking the sport seriously to the point where you're fighting actual boxers. Now he decides to fight a fighter, a real fighter, which is Tyson. But Tyson is 30 years older. Stop this nonsense of going against dudes that either ain't boxing or is 25 years removed from the sport.
Jake Paul, however, sees things differently. In a recent interview, he boldly claimed that he's revolutionizing boxing. He believes the sport has grown more exciting under his influence and that partnerships with platforms like Netflix are ushering in a new golden age. With Netflix stepping in as a streaming partner, Paul argues that boxing is reaching an audience far larger than traditional pay-per-view could ever capture. In his words, this isn't just a fight, it's a cultural moment. By blending entertainment, technology, and sport, Jake insists he's bringing boxing into the future, making it more accessible to millions who would never have watched otherwise.
Huge news, by the way.
It's massive.
Like,
yeah.
I know we're taking it very nonchalantly. This is going to be your next super fight. And this is
on Netflix. Netflix. Insane.
So it's another Netflix fight.
November 14th, Netflix. Hey, it's fun. It's funny. Like, actually, you kind of like pioneered this a little bit. The pay-per-view model for combat is dying, it seems, especially now with the Paramount's acquisition of UFC. It seems like free fights may be the way of the future.
Piracy is such a big problem. That's what it is.
And I thought you did that with one of your fights, where you were going against the piracy. What fight was that? Where I don't know, maybe.
No, I mean so there's there was like the TV era of boxing, then there was the pay-per-view era of boxing.
And now the question that defines it all: can Gervonta Tank Davis overcome Jake Paul's massive size and power advantage? Or will Jake Paul prove once and for all that he's not just changing boxing's image, but rewriting its entire playbook? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.